Okay, we're going to do a short video here on georeferencing in the context of the Vermont Zoning Atlas. Um, if you were in the training, then you would have seen the live demo, but this is the video that follows up. It shows you how to take an image and place it into a GIS. Why would we want to do this? Right here in front of us, we have Bridgeport, Vermont zoning. This is a digital layer inside QGIS. And I downloaded this, but I wasn't completely sure that the zoning was accurate. I wanted to check it against the official zoning map, which happens to be right here. And it's only in a PDF format. It was produced by the Addison County Regional Planning Commission, but the digital files may or may not be available, the most recent ones. In some cases, the towns don't even have the original digital files, but they do have a hard copy map. So here I have it, and you'll notice that this map right here is fairly square or rectangular. This is how Bridgeport looks. But if you look over here on the QGIS, Bridgeport is a little more long and narrow, and I'll explain that in a moment. But before we do that, we're going to add some context in here. I'm going to go up to Web and Quick Map Services. This Quick Map Services is a plugin, and you can go to Plugins, Manage and Install, and you can get this Quick Map Service. It gives you background maps, but so you can experiment with that. I'm going to go to Quick Map Services, OSM, which stands for OpenStreetMap, and I'm just going to click it, and there it comes in OpenStreetMap. So now I have some nice context here. I have the roads, names, those types of things. So I'm all set here. And then the next thing that I'm going to do is make this canvas, this QGIS window, I'm going to put it in the same projection as my original map right here. So you'll notice this is a little bit square, and now we're going to come back over here. And right now it's in what's called a WGS 84 projection, or projection. That's what we deliver the data to in the Vermont for the National Zoning Atlas. But for doing our work, it's much better to have this in a Vermont state plane coordinate system because it looks much more normal and it matches the hard copy map that we're trying to georeference. So I'm going to come over here in the lower right corner, click on it. It's going to bring up a menu, and I'm going to change this to my NAD 83 Vermont EPSG 32145 and watch what happens to this map. See how it becomes much more square or rectangular. Now it matches up nicely to my hard copy map. All right. So now I'm ready to do the georeferencing. I am going to find the georeferencer by going to Layer and Georeferencer. I open it and I come over here and open a raster, and I open that PDF file directly. Pops right in. Now I need to have 4 control points. So I am going to find a control point here, maybe one over here. I'm going to come down here and find a 3rd control point, and I'm going to find a 4th control point over here. The control points need to be spread out across the map. That's very important. You don't want them linear, so that you get a good referencing. If you were using only part of the map, let's say, for instance, I only wanted to check the village district, then I could just georeference part of this map. In that case, I might use 4 control points that are closer in, say one here, one here, one here, and maybe one over here or here. But in this case, I want to georeference the whole map, so I'm going to use these 4 control points sort of on the outsides of the map. All right, so I'm going to start by zooming in a little bit here. I'm going to pick up my hand, and I'm going to go into the Ratlin Bridge Harbor Road area right here. This is my first point. Before I do that, I'm going to move my georeferencer out of the way, and I'm going to come back to my map canvas in QGIS. And I'm also going to zoom into that same point right there, Ratlin Bridge Road, Basin Harbor. So now I have that. And I'm going to come back over here. And now I'm going to pick up my Add Point tool right there. Click it once. And I'm going to click it there. And I get an enter map coordinates. It wants me to enter the X and Y coordinates that I don't know. Instead, I'm going to take them from the map canvas right here. So this button right here, map canvas. And you'll notice also it says automatically hide georeferencer window. This was turned off. By default, it's turned on. I turned it off. So it doesn't hide the georeferencing window. I like that, especially for making a video. So I'm going to take it from the map canvas. But first I have to move my little georeferencing window out of the way, come over here, and got it. Now it's got coordinates right there, and all I have to do is say, OK. So I say OK, bring the georeferencing window back, and you can see that I now have a first point, ID 0, and its source was some arbitrary coordinates, and now the destination has much larger coordinates. These are Vermont State Plane coordinates in meters. So I've got that one. Now I'm going to go to my next point over here, which is going to be Forest Road and Mountain Road. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to come over here to Forest Road and Mountain Road right there. I think that's plenty zoomed in. And then I'm going to add a point again, right there. There we go. And then again, from the map canvas, slide that out of the way. And there it is right there. That's good. And say, OK. All right. Now I have a second point. OK. And you can see it down here. I'm going to go down to my third point right here, which is at the intersection of Hemingway Road and Route 22A. And I'm going to add a point. That's it. I'm going to cancel that for a second. And before I do that, I'm going to come down here to that same point on my canvas, which is right here. All right. And then I'm going to come back and do this again. There, and from the map canvas, there it is right there, there, and then OK. And then my last point is going to come over here, Crown Point Road, or Liberty Lane and Lake Street right there. So I'm going to do that. And again, before I do that, I'm going to also find that point and just come to it on my canvas right here. I just find it easier to do that. And then I'm going to do point right there. And there it is. On the map canvas here. Good, got it. All right, I've got my 4 points, and you can see the sources were just some arbitrary numbers, and then the destinations here are much larger numbers. Those relate to Vermont State Plane. Then we have over here a residual. That's the error, essentially. That's the best fit, and then what kind of error there is at each of those points. It's a little bit higher than I want. I've done better before, getting it down to about 0.2 meters. Or this is pixels, actually, 0.43 pixels, which isn't too bad. So I'm totally fine with that. And I'm going to keep that. I've been able to get it a little bit lower before, but I think it's reasonable for what I want to do. So I am going to come over here and start georeferencing, and it's going to ask me to set an output file name. So it's going to bring up a transformation settings menu. My transformation type is going to be polynomial 1. Okay, that's a pretty simple one. I would use that. Target is going to be this EPSG32145, and then my output file, where I want to put it and the name of it. And I'm going to, since I already have some examples right here, I'm going to give it a 4, just because this is the 4th time I've done it. And I'm all set. So now I hit OK. And now I have to come back to that georeferencing button again and start georeferencing. And boom, it finishes. I'm going to move my georeferencing window out of the way. And you'll notice that it came into my map canvas right here. And it looks like it's pretty darn good, you know? And here is my zoning. It's underneath. So I'm going to take this georeference map. I'm going to move it down there. And now you see that the zoning is on top. It fits pretty darn well right there. So now I can compare my my digital zoning to this master zoning that was before just non-georeferenced. And so that's really exactly what I need to do. I'm just going to save this project here so that I always have it. And this is now a new file called, it's a TIFF file, and it will be stored in your directory. So it always has georeferencing with it. You can bring it into other projects, but that's how it works. There are other examples of when and why you would want to do georeferencing. Here's another one here wherein this is in the town of Orwell. And it turned out that we needed to have an overlay layer, which is flood hazard areas. These flood hazard maps that come from the US government or from the flood insurance rate maps, they were only in hard copy format, and the town didn't have any digital version of these. So we georeferenced these flood hazard rate maps, which is fairly common in Vermont. We don't have flood areas in digital format for a lot of parts of the state. So instead, I digitized this, and you can see that it matches up pretty nicely. And then we were able to then, as necessary, digitize these flood hazard areas from these maps. So that would be another example of why you would want a layer that you would want to georeference. And you can see there are 4 of them here that we georeferenced. Okay, that's all I have for now. And I hope this was helpful. Please let us know if you need any help, and we can always get that for you. You can go onto the Slack channel. Let us know. Okay.